Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to JustKurlz. Thank you so much for tuning back in. If you're new here, hi, my name is Filio. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you that you watch my videos, Thank you that you like my content. I'm so excited, I'm so happy. Okay, right. So in this video, right, I am starting a new segment which I'm going to call Talks with Honna, right? So in this segment, I'll just be talking about life in general, just giving you guys my opinion in case you guys want it. Yeah. So I'll just be giving my opinion on certain stuff, but I will obviously not be alone. I'll be having different guests on the show so that we can just debate and we can just talk about real life things, okay? So in today's segment, we're going to talk about marriage because I owe you guys a marriage video. So I thought that should probably be the first thing we start off. But it's not just going to be about marriage. Talks with Honna is going to be different things, just life in general, okay? So yes. If you're interested in watching this content, please do keep on watching. As you guys can probably see, I have a guest on the show today. I have Urii Moretti, Mrs. Moretti in the house.
Hello, JustKurlz, guys. How are you guys?
Yes, so she's also married and she also got married young, even younger than I did. So I thought, hey, maybe we can learn.
We're the same age.
Yes,
Not
yes.
much young.
Yeah, but we can just learn from each other and just, yeah, so, yeah, okay. So do you want to say anything to the...
Hi guys, thank you for subscribing on Filio's channel. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Like she said, join the team. Enjoy the content. As she said, it's going to be a segment on everything and anything. So I'm sure she will also do the things where she asks you guys questions on what you guys want to hear.
Oh yes, of course. If you guys have anything you want us to discuss, on this channel with different guests, obviously, you should just let me know. You can either DM me on my Instagram or you can post your question down in the comment section below. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's start. So we'll start off, I guess, by saying how old we were when we got married and how long we've been married. So,
Alright. Well, you introduced me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, yeah. I got married when I was 22. That was when I was 22. And my husband was 23 at the time. We've been married for the past, this is our third year. In November it'll be our third year.
So almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got married last year, as you guys probably know. I was 24 when I got married, And yeah, it's almost a year, guys. I am so excited. It's just 2 more months. No. Technically 1 month left.
Just August.
Yeah, so exciting. Okay, so I don't know much because I haven't been married for that long, but hey, I have learned some stuff in the little while that I was married, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, we both don't know much.
Yes.
But we're just sharing our experiences.
Yes.
What we've learned over the past few years that
Yeah.
we've been married.
So please note, guys, this is just our experience. Obviously experiences are different for different people, and yeah, so we'll just take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now my first question, and this is the second question, is so you got married really young, your early 20s. So my question is, I want to know your experiences now getting married young, and if you had to do it again, would you do it again at that age, or would you like wait a few years?
My experience being married young. Well, I come from a Christian family, so them understanding that I wanted to get married, the time that I wanted to get married, was fairly easy. They were quite understanding. I didn't have any backlash or no one was opposing. No one was opposing the fact that we wanted to get married young. But there were those people that were asking us, oh, you just want to get married because you want to, can I use some sex?
Because you want to do the deed.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. There were people obviously who asked us, you want to get married because you want to do the deed or whatever. But there are so many things that
take to marriage.
Yeah, there's definitely more to marriage.
Yeah.
The support that we got from our parents was good.
Okay.
So I really didn't have a problem with the people close to us with the fact that we wanted to get married. Only maybe external factors. Yeah, people who kept saying how you're just 22 or you're just 23, life just started. Where you gonna get this? Where you gonna get that? Where you gonna get this? And of course, you can never have enough.
Yeah.
I feel like you can never have enough. So that was also the mindset that my husband had. So we told ourselves that we're just gonna get married with what we had. And would I do it again? I would definitely do it again because I look in the long term. Like when I'm 40 something, we would be married for like 20 years and our children will be like in their teens, close to 20s.
Yes.
So, thinking in the long term, I'm like, I can actually just relax and retire at a very young age.
Yeah.
And the kids will take care of themselves,
Yeah.
That's also something that I think about. But I would definitely do it again.
Definitely.
I would do it again. Yeah, he's my person, man. So growing together is good.
It's good.
Yeah.
For me as well, I've got a lot of why are you getting married? You're still young, you still have your life ahead of you and stuff. So it was the same for me, hey. And my parents were supportive. His parents were supportive. It was just more of external families and external people that had a problem with it, and they would complain that we're still young. I was once asked that, am I not scared that my life would be over getting married? And honestly, if that's how you feel about marriage, you probably shouldn't be getting married.
I mean, life is good with them. I feel like it's better. Or maybe I'm just saying that because that's the situation or the season that I'm in.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's better when you're doing it with your person. That companionship.
Yeah. But it also helps that we're Christians, we're Christians, our husbands are Christians. I think that is very important as well. And it helps with the getting married young aspect. Well, I remember when I was getting married, and then someone asked me, oh, you're getting married? I think it was my aunt. She looked at me and then she's like, that she felt so bad. She felt so sorry for me. In the aspect that maybe I would be mistreated, or not per se by my husband, but if you are hetero, you know.
I hear you.
So, yeah. And would I do it again? I mean, it was just last year, but I think I would. I think it's nice to just to do life, man, with your friend, with your person. It's fun. The way we are adulting and stuff, I don't see myself doing it alone.
It's like big and doing it alone.
It's just weird. So Yeah. Yeah. Cool. What is marriage to you?
Shoo, baby. What is marriage to you?
Don't copy, bruh.
What do you mean? Well, going back to my Christian belief, marriage symbolizes Christ and the church. And what did he do for the church? He died for the church. He loved the church. So I feel like marriage is that companionship, that friendship, servanthood, compromising, fun. Like I'm just mentioning stuff, but that's what marriage is to me. Marriage is just. I read a quote once that said marriage is like an endless sleepover with your person or best friend. And it's that with so much more, with all those things that I mentioned. Because in marriage, what I've learned is that if you don't have that servantness or that serving character in you, it's a bit difficult. Because then you put yourself first, or you want to put yourself first, but you're with this person and you need to also take in his needs into consideration.
Yeah.
So marriage is all about just me. My aunt-in-law once told us that marriage is not a 50-50 situation. You don't bring your 50 and he brings his 50. You bring 100 in all time. You bring 100 and he should bring his 100. You should be complementing each other. Even if he brings his 1, you should still put in your all into the marriage. Because you're not going to go anywhere. Well, because personally, we don't believe in divorce.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't know how the future will look or how hard things will be in the future, but that's what we have, like, you know.
Yeah.
We just.
It's not an option.
Yeah.
It's not an option at all.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Marriage to me is really just love and servanthood. Honestly, literally how the Bible shows how Christ loved the church.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what the church does on a daily basis.
Yeah, they disappoint.
Yeah, but he's still there.
Yeah.
He's still there. So that whole thing of bringing your 100 and he brings his 100, it has really helped me.
Yeah.
Because every time something happens and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I always go like, let me just let me put my pride and my selfishness aside and do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And then after things are done, we can sit down and talk about it like, no, this is what you did, it hurt me, what. But we move forward. Move forward in life.
Guys, I cannot even, she explained it so well. I feel like if I say something, I'll just ruin it.
Just say!
So yeah, no, I agree with you, but like I think that brings us to the next question on like what have you learned, lessons that you've learned, or what you knew, what you wish you knew before you were married, or lessons you learned during the marriage. Like for example, I would say that thing that you said about pride, right? There's no room for pride in marriage. There's no room for selfishness in marriage. I remember a couple of days ago, I was just,
Just recently,
I was just here and then I'm just like doing like food for us, right? We're just two, so I'm just here there preparing food for me and my husband. And then he wanted his tea complicated and give me extra work. And then that day, mind you, I was on my period. So things were very irritating. That's not an excuse though. So that day, I was just so irritated and I'm like, this man wants me to do so much work for him while he's sitting down, right? And I kid you not, the next day, out of nowhere. Like because I didn't go complain to him, I just did it, you know. The next day, out of nowhere, he just comes and he, like, I don't know, he decides he's gonna cook that day, or he decides he's gonna make me tea out of the blue, you know, just such a thoughtful thing like that. And then it just made me think, Usha, like, me with my selfishness, like, the way I was feeling yesterday, I just felt so terrible about it, because, like, look at him doing just this random things for me, like, out of the blue, and I was there the previous
acts of service is a love language.
Yes. So, and I didn't even know that it was one of the love languages that, like, but when he does it, it's random and it's so sweet.
It's definitely one of
And
mine.
sometimes he does even stuff that it's complicated, it takes a lot of work, but he'll do it, and he'll do it like lovingly and not grudgingly and not selfishly. Yo guys, I felt like I was God was like really speaking to me that day, like, my child, today you were wrong and you've sinned. I think that's why the next day he did such nice things to me, to make me, to put me in the right you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, no man, you can't be selfish. It's just
Yeah, no, I also hear those moments where, yeah, we have a 1-year-old daughter. So moments where I want to do something, she's there, he's just like,
yeah.
watching CDs or doing something.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, oh, really, babe, really, you can see that I'm busy.
Yeah.
Why don't you just stay on your phone? And of course, it's something that I complain about. But then there are moments where he just goes like, okay, you know what? For this week, just so you can rest, let's take COVID to my mom's, or let's take COVID to your mom. And just those moments, man, where he thinks about me and goes like, okay, so he really does see that some stuff annoys me, and he's not just like brushing it off or whatever. He's really actually taking it into consideration, and it's sweet. It's sweet. And talking about those
service.
Oh, guy, that's my love language. Definitely, because when somebody's doing something out of his way, even the little things, even if you're making me dinner or making me a cup of coffee, or you're making yourself a cup of coffee and you're like, baby, do you want a cup of coffee?
Yeah, it's just so sweet, eh? And you know what? The thing also that I was thinking about is like, my husband is such a sweet person, hey? Like, I would literally go to him. If I would go to him. Of course he is. Like, literally, I can just so much say, if I have a lot of stuff I'm doing or whatever, or if I'm overwhelmed with work, I can just tell him, hey, can you please help me with this and this and this? And he will gladly do it. He won't even hesitate. He won't even, you know, he will just like, oh, yes, I'll, you know, just to do it, just to help me, hey? And then, what was my point?
What have you learned?
Yeah,
so that's what you've learned.
oh yeah, so basically, I learned that communication, hey, is very important. So say I'm doing certain things, or he's doing something and I'm not happy about it, and I keep it to myself, and then in my head I'm like grumbling and, you know, oh, this guy, you know, it doesn't help, because he has no idea what I'm thinking. He thinks everything is good. And then the next day I come, you know what, when you did this, and he gets shocked and stuff. So, like, he's such a reasonable guy that I can literally go to him and be like, hey man, I need help with this, because I'm overwhelmed with work, or I have this, you know, and he won't like complain. Communication, guys, it's very important, I feel like, in marriage. Yeah.
So, what I've learned is, or what I wish I learned, or what did you say?
Yeah, what you wish you knew before coming in.
Okay, okay, but it's something that I already knew.
Okay, but
like I went through it in counseling, but I didn't know, like, I only got to know about
you
it.
just heard about it, but
yeah.
you didn't.
I only got to know it like maybe like a week before I got married, because it was something that I was learning. But little things as knowing your love language is really important, because the way that he shows his love to me is different, because it's his love language that he's used to
Sure.
So that whole thing of communicating it's really important, because before we got married we sat down and actually learned each other's love languages. Like what makes you happy, what makes you feel a certain type of way emotionally. So that's how that is really, so communication is, I agree, 100%. Because when we were dating, I remember I'm one person who, if things are not going my way, I don't know what to do. I get so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start. I'm not those people who think on my feet. I'm not. So when things got intense when we were dating, I'll just cry. It's like that's all I knew how to do. Because I don't know how to communicate. I remember our first argument was over the phone, and I had my cousin sleeping over. And I don't know what we were arguing about, but I just started crying, and then she was like, "What the hell is wrong with this girl?" I just started crying, and then he was like, "What's happening?" And then I told him, but what you said and what, and then he's like, "No, tell me." Like, communicate. So, guys, even in relationships. Even in friendships, sibling situations, work,
everything.
Like, communication is really, really
because the
important.
other person cannot read your mind.
Exactly.
This is not a supernatural type of this is real life.
So communication is really, I know it's something that people talk about. I mean, when you're in a relationship, people go like, communicate. But I felt like it's something that I just really took for granted. Like, of course we'll communicate. I mean, we live together.
We talk.
We talk every day. But so because you also need to learn what are the aspects of communication and all these things. So that is really one thing that I wish I knew. Put it into practice new.
Because for me, when we went for counseling, like, our counselors did a great job, man. They told us this, they did it. And so when I came into marriage, I'm like, I know everything, man. Like, they told me, oh, when this happens, you might expect this, I knew everything, but like, it's different when you are experiencing it. Yes, it's different when you are like experiencing it. And this, as you're right, it counts for like all the relationships you have in your life. So this could be your siblings, this could be your parents, this could be at work, this could be at school. Like, it's very important to communicate your feelings.
Definitely. So guys, that is one thing that I wish I knew before I got married. Communication and everything, things like, what do you want to wear today, where do you want to go eat out, and stuff like finance.
Yes, finance. Okay, so the big thing about finance. One thing about finance that I learned, and what am I saying? Yes. So even one of the objections when we were getting married was the finance objection, right? So when we got married, we had jobs, okay? God blessed us with a job. God blessed him with a job so randomly, hey? A few months before we got married. So that was like a blessing. And we had jobs, hey? But we were not stable where we were at, hey? So it's not where we want to be, right? That whole finance thing was like, how are you going to do this? How are you going to live? Where are you going to live? How are you going to go to work? How are you going to do all these things? It was an issue here.
For us, when we got married, he was a sales agent for Sanlam. So it's really a whole complicated, messed up situation. But God always came through. God always came through. We always had, we could pay our rent. It was also just a small place that we knew we could afford, nothing fancy. We had food. And when we fell pregnant, we were like, oh, okay, what's going to happen? But God came through again. Like, we opened our own insurance firm, broker, and
we get insurance.
We opened our own insurance broker, and I got to do my thing at Campus Crusade for Christ.
Yeah.
And yeah, things were going well. It's also not where you want to be.
Yeah.
But it was, since insurance is like an industry that's like this.
Yeah.
And being a full-time missionary, things were also like this. So it was never like,
yeah,
this month, this is a consistent salary that's gonna come through.
Yeah.
It was always like, so we navigated through that. And when things started to become a little more intense or tough or whatever, out of nowhere I got
A new job.
the offer that I got out of nowhere. I didn't apply, didn't do anything, but God came through in that sense.
But you know, guys, I've actually seen how, you know, even when I lived with my parents, I would see how God just comes through, right? But now that I live with me and my husband, now that we handle our finances, it's so crazy how he just comes through. He sustains it. Sometimes we would be there, it's the middle of the month, and we're like, what are we going to do?
My friend.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes somebody saying, hey, I didn't get your wedding gift. Here you go. And then that, like...
And you've been married for over a year. I mean, almost a year.
And then some, you know, such blessings, hey. It's just God sustaining us, God saying, what do I say? Sorry, guys. Okay, yeah. So it was just like, it was just this random things of like how if you put your trust in, not being worried that hey, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do tomorrow? What are we gonna what? We will always stay calm because we knew that we had God on our side, and like we haven't gone to sleep hungry. You know, we haven't been homeless, or whatever, man. Like there was a time when we moved. And we didn't know how we were going to do with like transport-wise because we moved a little bit out of the city.
The good life.
So, and you know, we had to commute to Windhoek for work and stuff. So we didn't know how we would be able to handle that because we are two and we both need to go, and it was just too expensive, right? And then out of the blue, my parents called us one day and they're like, hey, we want to have a meeting with you guys. And we're like, oh, okay. Like, what did we do? Did we do something wrong? Then we sit there with them and they're like, hey, you guys are saving up for a car. And I'm like, yes, we're saving up for a car. And I'm like, okay, but you guys are moving far now. So while you are saving up for your car, why don't you use this car that we're not using and that we're about to sell so that you use it until you get your car and you bring your car back. And guys, that was just a blessing because that was something we were like, what are we going to do about that? And to me, that is just God coming through here.
Another thing, I don't want to go back, but another thing that I wish I learned or I wish I knew before I got married was accepting help.
Yeah.
Because I felt, I mean, we're married, we're out of the house,
Yeah.
we need to hustle now. Like, there's no turning back. But then there are moments where you're really just stuck between a rock and a hard place, and your parents are there and they're willing to assist you.
Yeah.
So there were times where you were like, should I really accept their help? But then that help is like a blessing from God because they keep saying that if their parents were active in their lives when they got married, they would have wanted their parents to help them because they know how it is, they know how tough it gets. So that whole situation of accepting help has really, that's something I wish, the pride, I think it goes back to the pride situation.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So accepting help, accept help. If you're stuck, you're stuck.
Yeah.
People are there around you for a reason.
Yeah, and this is not even just for like newly married people, but just even in general, as you're moving out of your parents' house or wherever, and you're like now starting adult life, hey, do not try to live as other people, as you see other people living. Don't try to, I guess, live above your means, hey. So you see this other couple, and hey, they started out big, and they started out like having a 3-bedroom house or whatever it is, having a car, having this, having everything really, and then you feel like you are failing in some sort of way because you're not at that level, which is, and then you get yourself into debt trying to get to there, trying to buy things you cannot afford. It's just not a good thing. Like the way you are, where you are, just live by your means. If you cannot afford a car, you can't afford a what, then that's fine. It's just for the period, and then eventually you'll move on.
Can you mention people that you watch or listen to podcasts? Okay. So we have this thing, a guy that we love listening to, Dave Ramsey. He's like a financial person type of thing. We love listening to him. So one thing that he keeps saying is that just because you can pay for it doesn't mean you can afford it. It was like, it was deep because I think he was getting to how I understood it was that don't get credit just because you can get a fridge and you pay monthly installments of 250, that installment for like 24 months is even double the price, almost the original price of the fridge. So if you can't buy the fridge, so I think that's where he was getting at. Just because you can pay for it does not mean you can afford it. Like Filio said, sometimes you compare yourself to other people, to other couples as well. Like when we got married, the people who got married before us, they had houses, they had cars, and you were like, hey, and then 1-bedroom carpet, 1-bedroom backyard flat, which I am truly grateful for. It was a season God put us in, and it was a good one. We had really good landlords. Shout out to them. But it was one thing that I learned through that period was being content with what you have in the season that you're in. Being content is what kept us sane. Is what kept us not to compare ourselves to everyone else around us. Because contentment, if you have what you have in your fridge, that's what you have. Look for ways on what you can do with what you have. Because I think if you're not content, when you're not content, like you said, you end up going into debt. Because I want that L couch in my sitting room. I want that 42-inch in my TV. I want those things. And you go into debt.
It also causes like conflict, I think, in like the relationship you're in or whatever, where you're like, why don't we have these things? Is it your fault? Is it my fault? Or it just puts pressure on each other, on the other one. I mean, that won't take you anywhere, and honestly, it's not worth it.
It's really not like when we moved to the good life where Filio then came. I was like, oh God, thank you. This is what I wanted. This is the home I wanted. It may not be the size that I want, but this is what I prayed for. And He has put us there for a reason. Extend with time. It's just us and our 1-year-old daughter. It doesn't matter. Okay, of course, people do not prefer sleeping with their daughter, their child. But like if you have a 1 bedroom and that's all you can afford at the time, she can sleep in the crib. I mean, let's say she's like 5 months. What will she do? What harm will she do if you sleep in the same area? I'm not saying she sleeps with us. I'm just saying like just be content in the situation that you're in.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's very important. I think that's important in life in general. Just be content where you are. So if, for example, you are single and you wish to have a wife or a husband or whatever, and at the moment, God hasn't brought this person into your life, you also need to be content with where you are. Maybe this is God showing you, hey, I need to focus on me now. Because when you have this person, your attention is divided. So wherever you are, you need to be content with what you have and not try to be jealous or covered or stuff other.
Yeah, because he really does.
Sorry guys, my English bundles are depleted.
God's timing is perfect. No matter what. And this goes back to Romans 8:28. It's a verse that a lot of people love. But then when we're going through that tough situation, you're like, why God? Why? And then you go back to the verse and you go like, everything. And he means everything, guys. Works for the good for those who love him. And what can we do but just trust in his promises? And trust in his word.
You know what?
No, I don't know.
When I'm going through like a tough time, when life is tough, and life is really tough nowadays because of this COVID pandemic and so many people losing their loved ones and stuff.
1 meter apart.
Yes, but when we're going through such situations, there's a song that we have in the church that I really love. It's called Count Your Blessings, right? So I see it as you see all this negativity and stuff that's happening in your life and it looks so big, but when you think back at the good things you have, the blessings God has given you, it literally overpowers it's more than the bad, but you can't see it because you just have this blind lens on when you're going through this tough time. But literally you need to just sit back and just count your blessings and name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. I really love that song, you guys. So just
be content. Just be content in where you are. Like Philio said, be content if you're in a single season right now, if you're married, if you're struggling with a module.
School.
Work hard. But like don't beat yourself up. I mean, everything happens for a reason. That's fine.
You go through it, you work hard, and you overcome it, and then literally that cost that caused you so much trouble will be in the past.
And maybe you're going through it so that you can be able to help the next person. It's not always about yourself.
I mean, you don't know how God is using you or how He will use you.
Definitely.
Maybe He will use you to sustain other people. You just never know. And guys,
your situation can be somebody else's lesson. And yours as well, but or helpful situation for the next person.
Okay, so I think that was good, and I think we're running out of time now. So it was a little bit all over the place, not organized, but it was our first segment, our first episode. I believe as we move on with this segment, we'll do better and we'll have like a system.
tune in for the other
For
guests.
more, yes. Also, guys, please do, if you have any topics you want us to talk about on this segment, please do let me know down in the comment section below, or you can DM me on my IG, which will be somewhere on the screen.
Or on my IG if you're following me.
Yes, or I'll put her IG as well, and then you can also DM her. Just different questions that she will forward, or she will even do it in the next segment, you know, if you guys like her. Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the end. You are so appreciated. Please let me know if you are interested in this type of content, if you want me to continue making this segment, and yeah, so I can like dive deep into it. Yes, thank you so much for watching it to the end. Let me know if you like Talks with Honna and want me to do more episodes. Yeah, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join the squad, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Bye.